Earlier this month, Woodside Petroleum, Australia's biggest oil and gas company, shelved plans for a $40 billion onshore liquefied natural gas development at James Price Point in Western Australia. Today, Woodside has made an announcement of its intention to resurrect the project offshore with floating LNG technology. The company's chairman is Michael Chaney, who occupies the same role at the National Australia Bank. Michael Chaney is also the federal government's chief international education advisor, and he recently travelled to China with the delegation of business people who accompanied the Prime Minister on her trade mission. Michael Chaney joins us live now from Perth. Welcome to Lateline again.
Good evening, Emma.
I want to start with your perspectives on the economy specifically. Is this the right time for Australia to be introducing a national disability insurance scheme?
Well, you know, there are many causes that people would like covered. I mean, I don't think many people in our community would deny the worthiness of that cause. The opposition supported it, the government supported it. The question is whether these sort of things can be paid for. And my concern is that announcements are made about new programs on the assumption that revenues will be forthcoming, and then a discovery that revenues won't be forthcoming and having to scramble to make up the difference. I think what's needed is for somebody in leadership to stand back and commission an independent, objective sort of review of the size of government, of its size and of its scope and of its efficiency, with some sort of long-range plan, and say, this is where we think we ought to be going. This is how big we think the size of government ought to be. For example, it's grown from 25% of GDP to 35% since the 1970s, and if it keeps going, it'll be at an unsustainable level, maybe 50% according to some estimates. And we need to stand back and say, who's doing what? And if we had a clean sheet of paper, how would we be running this country without the duplication and overlap that occurs between federal, state, local government and so on? And that involves, you know, a review of a whole lot of things like the taxation system to make it more efficient and the fiscal expenditure system. The problem I have is that these sort of decisions tend to be made on the run, or that's the perception. They're terrific ideas, and as I say, no one would argue with many of them, but we need to be able to pay for them, and you can't just keep spending money without getting the revenue. In the end, you end up like the countries we're seeing now in Europe that have very high levels of debt and very few ways of getting out of it.